My bitch wife's brutal cheating and lies. My cold, calculated revenge. You won't believe her karma. Okay, Reddit. Deep breath. I'm using a throwaway account for obvious reasons, and I just need to get this out. My entire world, everything I thought was real, just shattered into a million pieces. For context, my wife, Clara, and I have been together for 12 years, married for 8. We built a life, a beautiful home, planned kids, had all the dreams. Or so I thought. We were that couple, you know? The ones everyone said had it all figured out. The ones who seemed genuinely in love, always laughing. Our relationship wasn't perfect, no one's is, but it felt solid, built on trust and mutual respect. I honestly believed we were unbreakable. The cracks started subtly, almost imperceptibly, a few months ago. At first, I dismissed them as work stress or just general fatigue. Clara started staying out late more often. Girls' night, she'd say, or team dinner ran over. Her phone became an extension of her hand, always face down, always muted. She'd get defensive if I even glanced in its direction, claiming I didn't trust her. Which, at the time, I did. Implicitly. She'd snap at me for small things, things she never used to care about, like leaving a dish in the sink for 5 minutes. Her temper became shorter, her patience thinner. She'd spend hours in the bathroom, meticulously getting ready even just to run errands, which was a new development. Her clothes started getting flashier, her makeup heavier. I asked her about it once, genuinely concerned, thinking she might be going through some kind of midlife crisis or self-esteem issue. She just scoffed. Can't a woman want to look good for herself anymore, Mark? God, you're so suffocating. That stung, but I let it go, telling myself I was overthinking. The emotional distance grew, a chasm opening between us where intimacy used to be. Our conversations became clipped, perfunctory. I started feeling like a stranger in my own home, living with a phantom. The suspicion, a cold dread, began to creep in, whispering things I desperately didn't want to hear. I tried to ignore it, to logic my way out of the growing knot of anxiety in my stomach. Maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe I was working too much and neglecting her. I even tried to initiate more date nights, more intimacy, but she always had an excuse. Too tired, headache, early meeting. The emotional wall between us grew taller. Then came the day that cemented my worst fears. She said she was going on a girls' weekend to a spa, something she'd been planning for weeks with her friend, Sarah. I was a little bummed, but encouraged her to go, telling her she deserved a break. She left Friday morning, promising to call me that night. That call never came. I texted, she responded hours later. Sorry, bad signal at the spa? Having fun, don't worry. My gut told me something was off. Clara always had her phone glued to her, bad signal or not. I decided to call Sarah, Clara's supposed spa buddy, just to say hi and wish them a good time. I dialed Sarah's number, and her voicemail picked up. A calm, automated voice said, "Hi, you've reached Sarah. I'm actually out of town this weekend visiting my sister, so I might be slow to respond. Leave a message." My blood ran cold. Sarah wasn't with Clara. Clara was lying. A suffocating wave of nausea hit me. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. My mind raced, trying to piece together where she could be. The bad signal, excuse, the evasiveness, the sudden makeovers, it all clicked into place, a horrifying mosaic forming in my mind. The dread that had been a whisper was now a scream. I tried calling Clara again, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I texted, "Hey, just talked to Sarah. She's visiting her sister this weekend. Everything okay?" No response. An hour later, 2 hours. Silence. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. I paced the house, a frantic animal trapped in a cage. My mind was a battlefield, warring between denial and the sickening certainty that I was being played. I felt like I was going to throw up. After what felt like an eternity, but was probably only 3 or 4 hours, a text finally came through. "What are you talking about? Sarah is here. Maybe you misdialed, or she just forgot to mention the spa weekend part to you. We're having a blast. Talk later." The lie was so blatant, so audacious, it almost made me laugh in a deranged sort of way. Almost. Instead, a cold, hard resolve started to settle over me. I wasn't going to accuse her over text. I needed proof, undeniable, irrefutable proof. I knew her patterns, her habits. There was a specific bag she always took for overnight trips, a small duffel. I went to the laundry room, and there it was, sitting half unpacked. My heart hammered against my ribs. I rummaged through it, my hands shaking. And that's when I found it. Tucked deep inside a cosmetic pouch, beneath a tangle of hair ties and makeup, was a small, crudely folded receipt. It wasn't for a spa. It was from a small, upscale boutique hotel, about 2 hours north of us. And the date? Last night. The room number was handwritten at the bottom. But the real kicker? The receipt was for a king suite, clearly for 2 people, and listed charges for champagne service and romantic getaway package. My vision blurred. I sat down hard on the floor, the receipt crumpling in my trembling hand. It was real. It was all real. I stared at that receipt, feeling nothing and everything all at once. My brain just short-circuited. The world tilted on its axis. The man I was, the life I had, evaporated in that instant. It wasn't just proof. It was a dagger plunged straight into my chest, twisted and pulled out, leaving a gaping, bleeding wound. The image of her, my wife, in that hotel room with someone else, celebrating a romantic getaway, replayed in my mind like a grotesque movie trailer. It wasn't just cheating. It was a complete erasure of our shared history, a spit in the face of every promise, every whispered secret, every moment of intimacy. It was brutal. The initial shock gave way to a cold, burning rage unlike anything I had ever experienced. It wasn't loud or destructive. It was quiet, simmering, and utterly terrifying. My hands were still shaking, but now it was from the effort of containing this monstrous feeling. I wanted to smash everything, scream until my throat was raw, but I couldn't. I just sat there, numb, the receipt still clutched in my hand. Then the tears came. Not a gentle welling, but a torrent, uncontrollable, racking sobs that tore through my chest. I cried for the loss of my wife, for the death of our marriage, for the naive fool I had been. I cried for the future that was now obliterated, for the trust that was so carelessly broken. I cried until my eyes were swollen shut and my head throbbed. I felt hollowed out, an empty shell of a person. The sadness was a physical weight, pressing down on me, making it hard to breathe. I hated her. I hated myself for loving her. I hated the man she was with. Every single memory, every happy moment we shared, was now tainted, poisoned by this brutal betrayal. The emotional impact was an atomic bomb detonating inside me, leaving nothing but scorched earth. And now, a quick interruption. If you're finding this story compelling, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more raw, unfiltered relationship stories like mine. It really helps. The next 2 days were a blur of intense emotional turmoil. I didn't sleep, barely ate. I just existed, a ghost in my own home, going through the motions. I scrubbed the house, trying to erase her presence, but every object, every photograph, was a painful reminder. I knew I couldn't let this slide, couldn't pretend it didn't happen. The confrontation was inevitable, and I dreaded it. But a part of me, the part fueled by this new, cold rage, also craved it. I needed her to face what she had done. Clara returned Sunday evening, bright and cheerful, walking in like nothing was wrong. "Hey, babe. Missed me?" she chirped, holding up a small bag. "Got you a little something from the spa shop." My stomach clenched. The audacity. She was smiling, trying to kiss me, and all I could see was that hotel receipt. I stepped back, avoiding her touch. "We need to talk," I said, my voice flat, devoid of any emotion I usually possessed. Her smile faltered. "Oh, sounds serious. What's up?" she asked, her tone already shifting, a hint of defensiveness creeping in. I led her to the living room, where I had placed the crumpled receipt carefully on the coffee table. She saw it. Her eyes widened, flickered from the receipt to me, then back again. The color drained from her face. The bravado evaporated, replaced by a sudden, chilling fear. What is this?" she stammered, though her eyes already held the answer. I just looked at her, my gaze unwavering, letting the silence scream the truth. She crumbled, not with genuine remorse, but with a frantic, desperate scramble for excuses. "Mark, baby, it's not what you think," she cried, her voice rising in pitch. "I can explain. It was a work thing. A client dinner, and the client was staying there, and it was late, and I had to stay. Nothing happened, I swear." Her eyes darted around, looking for an escape, for a lifeline. "And the champagne? The romantic getaway? I asked, my voice still dangerously calm. That was for the client. They ordered it, and it just got put on my bill by mistake. I was going to dispute it. Sarah couldn't make it last minute. Her sister got sick. I was just trying to cover for her. I didn't want you to worry. The lies tumbled out one after another, a cascade of transparent fabrications. It was insulting. I just watched her, my face a mask. I didn't interrupt, didn't raise my voice. I just let her dig her own grave. She sounded like a cornered animal, pathetic and desperate. You told me you were with Sarah. Sarah who was visiting her sister. You told me you were at a spa. This is a hotel, Clara. A king suite. I stated, each word a hammer blow. Her frantic energy deflated slightly. She chewed on her lip, then tried a different tack. Okay, fine. I was with a friend. Just talking. We had too much to drink, and I just crashed there. It was stupid, a mistake. I swear, nothing more. She started crying, real tears this time, but they felt manipulative, a performance. Please, Mark, please believe me. I love you. It meant nothing. It was one time, a stupid mistake. She tried to reach for me, but I recoiled. The smell of her perfume, which used to comfort me, now made me gag. It was the same perfume she wore to her romantic getaway. Her pleas and tears meant nothing to me. They were just more lies, more manipulation. My heart felt like a block of ice. I knew, with absolute certainty, that she wasn't just talking to a friend. The detailed charges on the receipt, the sheer number of blatant lies, the sudden defensiveness that had plagued our last few months, it all painted a picture of a prolonged, deliberate betrayal, not a one-time mistake. The rage, which had been simmering, now started to boil over, but I kept it contained, a dangerous pressure building inside me. Stop lying, Clara, I said, my voice low and dangerous. Just stop. You insult me with every word. Her face crumpled again, but this time, there was a flicker of something else in her eyes. Anger. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy? You just want to demonize me, don't you, Mark? After everything I've done for you, for us. Her sudden shift in tone, from pleading to aggressive accusation, shocked me for a second. This was the truly bitchy Clara, the one I had only glimpsed in flashes before. You think I'm happy? You think I haven't been lonely? She spat, tears still streaming down her face. You're always working, always distant. I needed someone to talk to, someone to make me feel alive. That was it. The ultimate deflection, the classic cheater's playbook, blame the victim. The coldness in my chest solidified into something unyielding. All the years, all the love, all the trust, reduced to her feeling lonely and needing to feel alive with another man. The pain was excruciating, a physical agony that tightened my chest and made my head pound. But beneath the pain, something else hardened. Acceptance. Not acceptance of her actions, but acceptance of the brutal reality. Our marriage was dead. It had been murdered, slowly and deliberately, by her. And she wasn't even sorry, not truly. She was just sorry she got caught. The conversation devolved into a shouting match, with Clara continuing to blame me, to minimize her actions, and to gaslight me with every breath. I eventually just shut down, walking away from her pathetic attempts to justify her actions. The emotional impact of her callousness was profound. I went from heartbroken and angry to utterly numb, then back to a cold, hard resolve. I spent the next few days in a haze, barely interacting with her. She tried to make amends, cooking my favorite meals, trying to initiate conversations, even attempting to be physically affectionate, but her touch felt like poison. I couldn't bear to be in the same room as her. The house, once our sanctuary, now felt like a prison. Every memory, every shared laugh, every intimate moment we'd had, was now tainted. It wasn't just the fact of her cheating, it was the depth of the deception, the calculated lies, the sheer audacity of her actions. She hadn't just betrayed my trust, she had annihilated my perception of reality. I felt foolish, weak, completely emasculated. The initial shock had worn off, replaced by a profound sadness for the future that would never be, and a bitter resentment for the wasted years. My self-worth plummeted. I questioned everything about myself, wondering what I had done wrong, what I lacked, to drive her to such a brutal betrayal. It was a dark, lonely place. I felt utterly alone, despite being in the same house as the woman I had sworn to spend my life with. The emotional journey was a descent into a personal hell, a relentless torment that replayed the scenes of her betrayal over and over in my mind. By the way, if you're connecting with this story and want to hear more personal narratives of betrayal and resilience, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world. After a week of living in this suffocating silence, her still making half-hearted, performative apologies, and me just existing, a decision crystallized. There was no coming back from this. Not with her, not after her blatant lies and her refusal to truly own her actions. Her sorrow was for getting caught, not for the damage she inflicted. I couldn't rebuild a life on such shattered trust and contempt. I couldn't look at her without seeing the hotel receipt, without hearing her pathetic excuses, without feeling the cold dread of her betrayal. My love for her had turned to ash. I initiated divorce proceedings. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, signing those papers, accepting that my future was irrevocably changed. But it was also the first step towards reclaiming myself. Clara, predictably, blew up. She pleaded, she cried, she raged, she threatened. "You're just going to throw away everything we built for one stupid mistake?" she shrieked. "You're being utterly unreasonable. I told you I was sorry." Her words just bounced off me. Her continued minimization of her actions only solidified my resolve. It wasn't a stupid mistake. It was a calculated, brutal betrayal. And I wasn't throwing away everything we built. She had already burned it to the ground. The legal process was messy, as expected. She tried to drag my name through the mud, claiming I was emotionally abusive and neglectful. It was all a desperate attempt to gain an advantage in the divorce settlement. My lawyer, a no-nonsense woman I'd found through a friend, assured me that her claims were baseless and easily refutable, especially with the evidence I had. I told her I wanted everything fair, but I wasn't going to let Clara walk all over me. The resolution was clear: separation and divorce. I needed to excise this toxic part of my life to heal. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. It was a brutal, drawn-out process, but I came out of it with my dignity, some of my assets, and most importantly, my sanity. I got the house, and she got a fair settlement, much more than she deserved given her behavior, but I just wanted her out of my life permanently. The feeling of signing those final papers, of legally severing myself from her, was liberating. A heavy weight lifted from my shoulders, a weight I hadn't realized was crushing me until it was gone. But the story doesn't end there. Read it. The betrayal had left deep scars. I spiraled for a while, battling depression and severe trust issues. Every woman I met, every friendly glance, was scrutinized. I questioned my judgment, my attractiveness, my worth. I went to therapy, which helped immensely. It wasn't about getting over Clara, but about processing the trauma, understanding my own feelings, and rebuilding my sense of self. It was a long, painful road, but a necessary one. I focused on my career, reconnected with old friends I'd neglected, and started new hobbies. I slowly, painstakingly, began to heal. Then, about a year after the divorce, I heard through the grapevine about Clara. She had moved in with the friend. Turns out, he was her boss, a married man with 2 kids. His wife found out, and it blew up spectacularly. He lost his job, his family, everything. Clara was left with a jobless, now homeless man, struggling financially and ostracized by their social circle. The karma, as they say, was swift and brutal. I felt a grim satisfaction, a sense of cosmic justice, but no joy. Just a quiet acknowledgement that some people reap what they sow. The brutal revenge isn't what you might expect. Read it. It wasn't about violence or sabotage. It was far more insidious, far more devastating for Clara. During our divorce, she fought tooth and nail for alimony, claiming she was entitled to a lavish lifestyle because of my income. Her lawyer, a real bulldog, painted a picture of a distraught, financially dependent wife, abandoned by her cruel husband. My lawyer, however, had a different strategy. While Clara was busy denying the affair, minimizing it, and trying to portray herself as a victim, my lawyer was quietly gathering evidence. Not just the hotel receipt, which Clara still claimed was a misunderstanding, but more. See, Clara was arrogant. She thought she was untouchable. Her friend, the boss, was also married, and she wasn't careful enough. I had suspected the affair was ongoing, not a one-time mistake. So, weeks before the divorce papers were even filed, I had, with the advice of my lawyer, installed a discreet tracking app on her car. It was my car, registered in my name, so legally permissible, a small detail I was glad for. It showed repeated visits to the boss's house, and to that specific hotel, not just the one instance. Also, my lawyer had hired a private investigator for a short period, just enough to get photos. Not of them in bed, but of them entering and leaving the hotel together, looking very much like a couple, laughing, holding hands. It was irrefutable. My lawyer presented all of this, the detailed tracking data, the multiple hotel visits, the PI photos, the boss's name and marital status, directly to the judge. Not as a public spectacle, but quietly, efficiently, in chambers during a key hearing about alimony and asset division. Clara was blindsided. Her lawyer was furious, claiming entrapment, but the evidence was solid. The judge, clearly disgusted by Clara's blatant lies and ongoing affair with a married man, slashed her alimony request. She ended up with the minimum possible, a fraction of what she'd demanded, based solely on what she'd contributed to the marriage, not what she felt entitled to. It wasn't about financially ruining her. It was about ensuring she didn't profit from her deceit and making sure the court knew exactly what kind of person she was. This quiet, legal obliteration of her narrative was my revenge. She lost face, she lost the financial cushion she thought she'd get, and she lost all credibility. It hit her harder than any public confrontation ever could. The aftermath of that courtroom revelation was exactly the brutal revenge I needed, not in a vengeful, evil way, but in a way that truly served justice. Clara was humiliated. Her public image, the one she so carefully crafted, lay in tatters. She stormed out of court that day, refusing to even look at me. Her friend, the boss, also faced severe repercussions. When his wife was presented with the evidence, not by me, but through the official channels of court discovery, which made it all completely legitimate, she filed for divorce immediately. He lost everything: his family, his prestigious job, and his reputation. Clara, who had envisioned a comfortable life with him, was suddenly saddled with a man who was now a pariah, jobless, and deeply in debt from his own divorce. It wasn't something I actively orchestrated beyond simply providing the truth to the court, but the domino effect was undeniable. Her grand plan of leaving me for a more exciting life with a wealthy boss imploded spectacularly. Her social circle quickly evaporated. No one wanted to be associated with someone who had so callously destroyed two families. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she struggled to find work, her reputation preceding her in the small professional community we shared. She was forced to sell the apartment she bought with her paltry settlement and downgrade significantly. My revenge wasn't about violence. It was about exposing her for who she truly was and letting the natural consequences of her actions unfold without my interference. She got exactly what she deserved, not from my hand, but from the brutal honesty of the universe. It was a cold, hard justice that felt infinitely more satisfying than any act of physical violence. I didn't cheer, I didn't gloat, but I felt a profound sense of closure and vindication. The truth had set me free, and it had utterly destroyed her carefully constructed web of lies. Looking back, it's still hard to fully process everything that happened. The pain was immense, the betrayal soul-crushing, but I learned so much about myself, about trust, and about resilience. I learned that sometimes, the most brutal revenge isn't about sinking to their level, but about rising above it and letting the truth speak for itself. It's about taking care of yourself and allowing justice, in its purest form, to take its course. My advice to anyone going through something similar is this. 1. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore those red flags. 2. Gather evidence. Before confronting, be sure. Emotional accusations can be twisted. Solid proof changes the game. 3. Protect yourself legally. Get a good lawyer. Understand your rights. This isn't just an emotional battle, it's a legal one too. 4. Don't blame yourself. Her choices were hers alone. You are not responsible for someone else's infidelity or moral failings. 5. Seek support. Therapy, friends, family. Don't isolate yourself. Healing is a process, and you don't have to go through it alone. 6. Focus on your healing. Revenge might feel tempting, but true healing comes from within. Let consequences unfold naturally. You don't need to be the executioner. I'm still healing, still rebuilding, but I'm stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. I've learned that I am capable of weathering the storm, of surviving the worst kind of betrayal, and emerging on the other side. My life is no longer a mess. It's a testament to resilience. And as for Clara, her story serves as a stark reminder of the cost of deceit. The years that followed were a testament to the slow, arduous process of rebuilding. I sold the house that held so many tainted memories and moved to a new city, a fresh start. It was terrifying, leaving everything familiar behind, but also incredibly liberating. I started seeing a new therapist, focusing on attachment styles and how to build healthy relationships moving forward. It took a long time to trust anyone again, to open myself up to vulnerability. There were days when the anger would resurface, a cold knot in my stomach, and I'd replay the betrayal in my mind. But with each passing month, those moments became less frequent, less intense. I dated tentatively at first. There were some disastrous attempts, some awkward first dates, and a few good people I just wasn't ready for. I learned to recognize red flags, not just of infidelity, but of emotional unavailability, of narcissistic tendencies. I also learned to recognize healthy green flags, genuine kindness, open communication, respect. It was a journey of self-discovery, understanding what I truly needed and deserved in a partner, and what kind of partner I wanted to be. I made peace with the past, not by forgetting it, but by integrating it into who I was, without letting it define me. Clara's brutal betrayal transformed me, but I refused to let it break me. Instead, it became a catalyst for profound personal growth. I finally understood that true strength isn't about avoiding pain, but about enduring it and coming out stronger. If you've made it this far, thank you for reading my story. If you're going through something similar, remember you're not alone. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of overcoming adversity and finding strength in unexpected places. Your support truly helps build this community. One unexpected benefit of moving and getting a fresh start was the complete severance of contact with Clara. No more awkward run-ins, no more hearing snippets of her life through mutual friends. It allowed for a clean break, a crucial step in my healing. It's amazing how much clearer your mind becomes when you remove a toxic presence entirely. I deleted all her photos, archived old emails, and even changed my phone number. It felt extreme at first, but it was necessary. Every digital trace was a potential trigger, a phantom limb aching with memories. I focused on building a new routine, finding new passions. I started hiking regularly, exploring the mountains near my new home. The solitude and the challenge of nature were incredibly therapeutic. I joined a local book club, something I never would have done before, and met some fascinating people who had nothing to do with my past life. For the first time in a long time, I felt genuinely excited about the future, not just accepting it. It wasn't about finding a new partner, not yet, but about rediscovering myself. About remembering the man I was before Clara and embracing the man I was becoming after her. The process of completely detaching and rebuilding my life, piece by painful piece, was the ultimate act of self-care, and in its own way, the most profound revenge I could have enacted on the person who had tried to destroy me. She wanted to hurt me, and for a while, she did. But by choosing to heal, to thrive, and to live a full, authentic life, I denied her the lasting satisfaction of her brutal betrayal. That, I realize now, was my true victory.